Alright, so in this video I'm going to show the natal chart of the U.S. and the progress chart where we are now layered together. And this can be done in several different ways, showing the different energies from the solar return, which is the year to year, and the lunar, which is month to month. But when you compare them all together, you can definitely see the different things that are happening. I like this picture with the four-leaf clover. Mom and I always looked for four-leaf clovers together. Definitely a little frozen right now with this storm. So here it is together, and this is the birth chart of the U.S. inside in black. And Astrodience does it a little differently with the natal and progress. It's the secondary progress, it's called in astrology. And the green, instead of being the transit planets on the outside, are the progress planets. I threw in a few red transits, but when I start adding all that in, it gets really confusing. And that's why I showed them individually in the first two videos with the natal and the progressed. So one of the big hits was the progressed Fern in US at 1225. That actually connects to the birth, ascendant, and descendant axis for the United States, and a karmic inconjunct here to the natal Iceland and Gaia. There's a lot more, of course, that could be added in, showing a lot that we've been going through. But Jupiter and Poseidon here are connecting to the Apophis, chaos and destruction here. And the other things that I had shown, you know, within a couple of degrees here, America and what's it, the vertex. So, 2 degrees either way, Jupiter and Poseidon are also squaring the natal Saturn. And yeah, so you can see that. Lose that train of thought. Hang on. Bear with me here. So, another thing I pointed out with my little drawings, this is Mars, and Mars at the progressed Mars at 1617 is very close to the Fern in US natal placement at 1643. Now, Pluto and Hybris, Pride, has been conjunct Pluto, moved on a little bit. I don't want to be too proud sounding, but I got quite the surprise last night when I saw where the natal Fern in US were, because this is also my Uranus degree. Definitely unexpected. My Uranus is 16 degrees 42 minutes, and in my mom's chart, the 16 to 16 and a half are all my names. Like I said, she's an Aquarius Aquarius sun, that Uranus will be stationing direct square to next week, and a particular fixed star that's very important to me. But anyway, so that was an interesting surprise on Mom's death anniversary. So moving on, not personal here anymore. We have the natal Fern in US are opposite the progressed moon, and Chiron here with the progressed Mars right here near it. And of course the progressed Jupiter, which is the chart ruler of the Sagittarius rising of the United States, is conjunct Poseidon, making a square to this area. And there's our Saturn that it's square to, right near Fern in US. Now, Saturn is authority, the Lord of Karma, and the 10th house is a direction house. It's a public house, with the IC here being our public midheaven. And with everything that's going on, weather-wise, politically, etc., we just have to kind of see where it goes. So, I don't predict. I'm not even going to. So, the transit sun, which I have down here in red at 2:59 on the 23rd, is opposite the progressed Fernie, as I pointed out. And that means that the transit Pluto, Mercury, Venus conjunctions, Mars will conjunct on Tuesday. All of these are opposite Fernie. And square to the Saturn. So we have this T-square going on here, which is very challenging. This is Minnesota down here in transit, and you can see that it is also connecting. Now, transit Fern in U.S. at 1821 is in our first house. That's our house of identity. And it's connecting to the Chiron. Not quite exact yet, but it's connecting to the progressed moon and Chiron. Fourth house, that's our homeland. Aries is the identity house again. But fourth house is ruled by Cancer, and you see here in Cancer, we have quite a bit in the natal chart, and that's where that Jupiter and Poseidon are conjunct. So, lots going on there. We have progressed Hades is at 320 here, and that's connecting to the natal Kali, the goddess of destruction and awakening. And the progressed Hades is square to the transiting Pluto, Mercury, Venus, all these conjunctions here, the Sun. And each of those planets rule different areas of the chart and different signs. So that's a little more than I have time to go into. But Venus here in transit is opposite Snowdonia and the North Node in the 8th house, which is that big transformational, tragic kind of house ruled by Pluto. So, here it is still there. And it's connecting to the natal Phaethon, things spiraling out of control, and a phenomenon. We are definitely in a time of big phenomenons. And be connecting to the natal Venus and Jupiter here, to that solar flare part, which is still part of this chart, so I kept it in here, that I mentioned in the other chart video. That flared off so strong in May, and we've had quite a few of them since, from different sunspot regions as everything's changing. It connects to the natal Sturm, German for storm, where Hades has just crossed over. And of course, this past year, we have had every kind of unprecedented or once in a lifetime or hasn't happened in a long time storms and events affecting us. So, let's see. We have the progressed Minnesota here at 628 is connecting to transit change, which is stationing direct today, now that I'm the 25th of January 2026 that I'm recording this. And change is at the progressed Snowdonia and near the part of fortune. Then we have, it connects to the Venus, and the transit Venus is square to the progressed Venus. So this area right here is ruled by Venus because it's Libra, and by Saturn because it's the 10th house. Saturn being restrictions, authority, government, tradition, Lord of Karma. And it rules Capricorn areas here, which there's our Pluto in Capricorn. So, and we have Eris and Kali are also in Capricorn. So Saturn is ruling those. Venus also rules Taurus, which is the sign here. Alright, I don't want to get too far off track, make this last forever. We have our progressed weather here, connecting to change in Neptune and chaos. And those are pointing down here in a finger of God to Apophis. Chaos, destruction, awakening. We had some eclipse. We had the eclipse, partial solar eclipse at almost 29 degrees, September 21st last year. And another one just ahead, February 17th at 29 Aquarius, that are affecting anything from 27 to 29 degrees, where we have a lot of transiting planets, like snow right there, 28. That's square America and the Pluto. That's the progress. And then, you know, as you look around you and you see all those higher 20s and the 29s and zeros, those are all connecting to those eclipses. Transit Neptune, of course, is almost to 0 degrees Aries, and the progressed Sun is almost opposite change in Neptune. If you look here, the progressed Sun is at 2115, and transit Kali is conjunct it, and those are opposite the Neptune ruling the ice, snow, storms, some of the other political things we have going on, and not seeing what's going on, and change and chaos. So the Sun is still going to go more across that. Something I didn't mention with the progressed ascendant and descendant axis with Virgo. Virgo has a healing quality to it, as does Pisces. And, you know, Pisces is the love and the compassion. That's its higher side, where we love one another. And Virgo is the healer. Most of your nurses and people in the different healing professions have heavy Virgo energies, and the helpers and the healers. You know, Mr. Rogers always look for his mother had told him, always look for the helpers whenever there's something tragic, and they're going to have strong Virgo energy. That Virgo Pisces axis is pretty strong. So the lower side, though, of Virgo is judgment, and the higher version of that is discernment. You know, this is for me, that's not for me. But judgment can create a lot of problems, and so can escapism, the lower side of Pisces. So that was something I didn't mention in the progressed rising and the nodes crossing over the progressed rising and descendant. We're seeing a lot of that going on out in the world. So anyway, we have the progressed ascendant, and boy, I can't read it. Slug are still not quite square the natal ascendant and descendant. We may still have some more weather events ahead this year. I don't predict. So that's interesting to observe and see what happens there. You know, our progressed Eris at 10 degrees here is connecting to Gaia in Iceland. Anything around 9-10 degrees to the Uranus. Eris is discord and strife. Problem when I record these repeatedly is I forget what I've said. So Snowdonia and the North Node here in the natal chart are connecting to change. And down here to that Venus and Mercury, and that Venus to Uranus and the progressed. opposite the Iceland. Progressed Iceland is opposite our natal Uranus as well, connecting to Eris, Discord, and Strife. And square to Nessus, that's that troublemaker and healer of karmic generational traumas, if we will. You can see that snow here at 2828 is retrograde back very near to the natal America, and that's connecting to the moon, the people, and to Poseidon, Pluto and America here, opposite the vertex and part of fortune. The vertex, destiny's gateway, and part of fortune is your lot in life, luck. Let's see. Eris down here, just stationed direct not too long ago near Chiron at almost 25 degrees. And of course, Phaethon is transiting right here at 28, and Phaethon is opposite that snow. But Eris is making an inconjunct up here to the chaos and change, and opposite storm in America. Anything else? Oh, square to the Mercury in Cancer. You know, our thoughts, thinking, social media, communications, all of that in the homeland. You know, the 8th house is a very emotional house, and power struggles, and ruled by Pluto. So Pluto brings transformation, whether we like it or not, and Neptune brings endings, whether we like it or not. Just a fact of life. And let's see. I know there's more. Now, our natal sun is 13-something degrees in Cancer, and that's a karmic inconjunct here to the progressed America and storm and progressed vertex and Poseidon. I'm not sure which Poseidon it is, I don't recall, but between the two, it's there, the other version of Neptune. And Phaethon here in the progressed, of course, was connecting to transit Saturn, which is right on top of it, crossed over it, connecting to the Pluto, the power struggles, the change, the transformation in Capricorn. And, you know, that's a pretty big deal. So, let's see. We do have the progressed Eris and progressed Gaia at 17, 18 degrees are connecting to the natal Lilith here at 19. Oh, the natal Damocles. Eris is affecting that, but I think I've already discussed that in other charts. But on it is the Mercury. The progressed Mercury is on Damocles, the crisis and transformation. And the progressed Damocles. So those are connecting at 24:45 natal, and 24 here, that's connecting to the Eris, Discord, and Strife. Eris is also the protester that stands up for the little guy, the rabble rouser out in the streets. So we have a lot of that going on too. So anyway, so Neptune in transit moves into Aries tomorrow, the next day, and that's going to make an inconjunct to that Hades here pretty soon over the next couple months, and going to be an aspect to that. And I mean, I'm not even going to go into that. So anyway, you can kind of get an idea of what we have going on. I'm sure I skipped a lot, but you know, that progressed chaos in Neptune up here at 25, almost 26 degrees is really connecting into a lot around the charts and the natal chart. I've peeked at the solar return and the lunar chart, and it's showing the same. We've got a lot going on, so we'll see what happens. Observe, focus on what you can, and try not to let it get to you. Um, and we'll see how all this goes. Thank you for watching.